Hello and welcome
Welcome
back
back.
to Elemental
Elemental
Energies
Energies
with
with
Chris-Ann
Chris-Ann
and
and
Jeff.
Jeff.
I'm Chris-Ann.
I'm Jeff.
And welcome back. We are continuing this really fun conversation all about psychics, how to prepare for a reading, what to expect from a reading, how different readers work. But now we're going to talk about how do psychics prepare for the reading. So actually, this is, I know many psychics prepare quite differently. So let's start with how you prepare.
Well, how I prepare, it kind of depends on the type of reading.
Mhm.
You know, I'm on the website 24/7,
Right.
pretty much logged on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are times that I log off for personal reasons, but nobody wants to call me while I'm in the shower, obviously. So, but that means that, surprisingly enough, a lot of the readings that I get on the website, even from people in the United States, happen at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. And there is no way to prepare for that.
Well, but that's okay because I'm ex-military. By the time that my phone rings, I answer the phone. The recorded message says, you have a call-in reading coming in. Press 1 to accept the call. By that time, I'm already on my feet and halfway to my desk where I've got all my reading tools set up. And by the time I press 1 to answer the call, I'm sitting there and I'm ready to read.
Right. Which is
That's one of the benefits for being ex-military, I guess.
No, yeah, you
I imagine
wake me
emergency
up regularly.
Yeah, I imagine emergency people like policemen and firemen would kind of be the same way. But then when I am preparing for like what we're doing this weekend in Portland, the Enlightenment Expo.
Yeah, so let's just talk 2 seconds about the Enlightenment Expo. I'm interrupting.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Enlightenment Expo is the largest psychic fair that happens in this area, so in southern Maine, and it's happening in Portland at the Fireside Inn on Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and it's really, really fun. We've been part of this. Well, I've been part of this for years, and you joined us when you moved here.
Yep. A little over a year ago.
Yeah, a little over a year ago. So you've done 2 or 3. Have you done 3? Yeah, you've done 3. This event happens every 6 months. And so if you're in the southern Maine area, join us at the Fireside Inn in Portland, right off 95 on Saturday and Sunday for the Enlightenment Expo. And if you want more information on that, go to the website, or actually go to the Facebook page, Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann and Jeff. There's a ton of information there. So anyways, okay, continue what you were saying. Sorry.
So anyway, like when I'm getting ready for the expo, I need a lot of room when I do readings.
Right.
When
More than I need.
Okay, so I'll explain really quickly the difference between the readings that I do. So when you're calling up, I want to give you information quickly, exactly, precisely the exact information that you need to answer your questions, to deal with your issues that you're calling about. When I'm doing a life reading, I'm doing it for anywhere, if it's a mini reading, it's 20 to 30 minutes. If I'm doing a full life reading, it's usually about an hour.
Yep.
And what it involves is it not only involves reading the Elder Futhark runes, but I also have developed a system where I use tarot cards to expand on or to validate what the rune is giving. So when I pull a rune, like so many people in our type of genre, I do things in 3s.
Right.
So when I do a life reading and I'm pulling runes, I pull 3 runes 3 times.
Yes.
So I do 3 pulls 3 times, and for each stone that I pull, each rune stone I pull a tarot card. So I'm not reading past, present, and future usually. It more goes like a story unfolding.
Right.
So when I pull a stone, I pull a tarot. I pull the 3 stones and I pull 3 tarots, and I tell you the meaning and the relationship in the whole thing.
Right.
And then, of course, I have 3 pendulums standing by to answer specific questions. And sometimes I don't even ask the questions out loud because I want confirmation that my intuition is going the correct direction. So,
right. Right.
So that's my preparation for doing life readings. I lay out this table with my runes, my cards, my pendulums. Sometimes I even, just for conversation's sake, throw out a jade skull.
Right.
My buddy Jade.
Right. We
Mr.
love our crystal skulls
Mr.
here.
Jade.
Yes, I have 3 of them right in front of me that I'm playing with as I'm on the radio, and a whole other pile next to me.
So anyway, you know, and it's funny because I've had other readers tell me how they prepare for readings. I had one, actually, I had one reader tell me that there is no possible way that I could truly be a psychic and a true reader because, number one, I charge money for readings.
Right.
And number two, I didn't meditate for at least an hour before every reading I did. I'm like, oh my God, how could I possibly make a living doing that? So, but then another friend of ours that I know on Facebook told me, or actually she posted this, and I'm like, oh, I would have never posted that. But she posted that, you know, people shouldn't disrespect her because it usually took her at least 24 hours of eating the right things, doing the right meditations, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, we all do things a little bit differently. I'm glad I don't have to go through that. So.
Well, I prepare a little bit differently.
Yep.
So,
I'm curious. The reason why I brought this up really is because I am curious as how you prepare. I've never actually.
You never asked me.
I've never asked you.
Actually, I live it. I live every day this way. So when you are taught to do the Akashic Records, you are told to not do recreational drugs, to not drink alcohol, to not do any of that stuff because it clouds the messages that are coming in. I don't do any of that stuff anyways. I don't drink, and I don't do caffeine at all because caffeine can block the messages that are coming in.
Not for me. I gotta have my caffeine.
I know you do. You work very different than I do, and that's okay. So I live this. I live it every day because people can call me and say, hey, are you available? I'll be there in 10 minutes. So I am always prepared to do a reading because I live it. I live this lifestyle that I am as clear as I possibly can be. I eat a pretty clear diet, you know, gluten-free, dairy-free, but, you know, it's still yummy and all that stuff. But also, a way that I used to prepare before was if I knew I had a list of people coming in to see me the next day, I would open up the night before to the deceased loved ones and say, okay, what do you want to tell me? And I could have a list of deceased come and talk to me the night before. Well, that got a little overwhelming. Doing that way for years, it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Especially if it's an older person coming for a reading. They've lost a lot of people.
Well, and if I had like 5 or 6 people lined up for the next day, who goes with who? I'm confused at this point. So I stopped doing that. And I would say to the dead, I have visiting hours for the living, and I have visiting hours for the dead. This isn't your time. Come back when it's your time. And what I do now is I only say, come in when your person comes in to see me. When your person comes in and sits down at that chair in front of me, boom, you can start talking to me then. Don't talk to me before that. That's not your time. You know, I don't want the living to call me 24 hours a day either. That's not your time either. So that's how I do it. I really kind of put a lock on the door and I say, your time is when your person comes in to see me, because it got really overwhelming for a little bit. You know, to say, okay, is it your person that goes with this one that goes with, no, that's too confusing. You come in when your person comes in. So I've stopped, quote unquote, preparing. I eat a clean, healthy way for most part. I mean, yeah, I was having a couple potato chips before this show, but you know, I need my salt.
Yeah.
I drink so much water that I flush the salt out of my system completely.
Oh yeah.
And I drink a ton of water, and we have chakra water here. And when I drink tea, it's no caffeine tea. I don't even have processed sugar anymore. I mean, come on. So, you know, I live it. I live this way. So, yes, there are some people that can't drink alcohol for a certain amount of time before they do readings, or if they are a recovering alcoholic, they will say to the client that you can't drink X amount of hours before you come in and see me. I know there are psychics that do that. And I was like, wow, that's something.
Right.
I get it. I
But,
get that you're
yeah,
tapping
if
into
you're-
that person.
If you're an empath, then you would be tapping into
Right.
that.
I get
would
it.
cloud things.
I get it.
But you know, that's really interesting, and I guess that's kind of different a little bit. I live it too, but for me, it's a situation of flipping a switch, kind
Right.
of sort of in my
Right.
head. But I'm not a medium.
Right. Right. Well, and you know, I like to say, you know, this is the life I live, and I'm sort of ready all the time. Do I meditate? I meditate for my own stuff, but I am in the Akashic records when my client is here in front of me. I'm not in a trance. I'm talking to them like I'm talking to you, but I you can hear us right now. Let me know on the chat room. Just making sure. Okay.
I think Terry's wanting to
Oh,
join us,
I think Terry's wanting to join us. Terry,
which would be awesome.
that would be great. So, Terry, if you're able to join us, when you chime in, just join in on the conversation. And if you can't join in tonight, that's okay. We're going to have you join in another time. But if for some reason you can't join in through the phone, please go ahead and put that on the chat room. Thank you, Sadie, for responding so much. I appreciate that. Feel free to chime in on the chat room also. I know Terry was trying to connect with us. Terry, we'll get you here another day, but for right now, feel free to chime in. Terry is also a reader, and she has been chiming in some of her stuff on the chat room. So feel free to go in and join the chat room and see that. But we were going to talk to Terry about how she prepares. So I know there are other psychics that, you know, will go on these like shamanic journeys and will do these like great meditations and do this big cleanse. Yes, I do sage the shop. We sage the shop regularly. We do spray sage. I use spray sage regularly in my office.
Yeah, I have a spray sage that I made, and it's funny. I actually call it Bad Be Gone.
Yes, right. I know. Well, I had a friend years ago. We used to do psychic fairs together, and she would always sit at the table next to me. She would spray sage between each and every client. I mean, she would spritz down her table and the chair that they were going to sit down. And
did she provide towels?
I would laugh at her to her face, you know. But she would go through that stuff literally like water. That's fine. That's fine. You know, when I'm going to do a show, I like to bring my crystals. I like to bring my tarot. I like to bring, you know, I have a special book that I write things down. Like when people tell me their questions, you know, what's your question? Okay, I'm going to write that down in this special book. I've charged this book. It's kind of similar to how some people use Book of Shadows, but this is what I use for my reading. So I make sure I always have sort of those things with me. So that's my preparation, making sure my space is clear of energies and clear with the stuff that I have that I need in front of me. That's my only preparation now.
So Terry's saying that she doesn't do a ton of work. She likes to keep herself centered and open so that she can quickly access her spirit guides, however she reads.
Right, and I totally get that. Yeah. Both of us are always sort of ready and on, and it's simply a matter of like clicking that switch. I have installed that sort of switch in my head, so to speak.
From what I'm understanding you saying, you kind of, as far as your medium gifts go, you kind of wall them off and say, go away. Put a close sign in the door. Yes. Whereas with me,
it's overwhelming.
I'm an empath, and I'm not really a medium per se. I do get information from my spirit guides in regards to things, but I also, it just comes to me.
Right. It just comes to me too, but I don't want it coming to me while I'm in the grocery store, while I'm trying to sleep, while I'm taking my son to the doctor. You know what I mean? I need sort of my time, and I have very comfortably said, this isn't your time. Come back.
Right.
Come back another time.
Well, Terry has a really good point too.
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
There's, for some psychics, it takes years and years for them to develop the ability to quickly be ready to read.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah.
And just like with any tool, anything that you use, the more often you use it, the quicker that you can use it, the better that you can do it.
Right. Well, yes, I agree with that. I mean, I am somebody that's been talking to the dead. My earliest memory is at 3. So, I mean, I chat with everybody. That's my problem. But, I've been reading for other people since the age of 8. And next Monday, on my Monday night show, Divining the Elementals with Chris Ann, I'm going to have as my special guest my son Ari. So Ari is 9, and he kind of works how I work. He just clicks it on when he needs it to. And, for him to do readings, there isn't a lot of preparation. It's sit down in the chair, get comfortable, get your cards, get your pendulum, got a drink. Okay, we're ready. Let's go.
Yep.
And I do agree with you. The more you read, the more comfortable you get at it. But the more you read that day, like sometimes if I'm doing a large event and somebody wants to come to me, within that time frame, and they'll say to me, when's a good time to come to me? I'll say, don't book the first one. Not that the first one gets a bad reading, because they don't. I hope nobody ever gets a bad reading. But by the end of the day, I'm so on fire because I've been doing that all day.
It's hard to stop sometimes.
It's charging. It's exciting. I remember you and I did an event. It was a couple of years ago. We were hired by this really fun couple that did this massive.
Oh, the restaurant owner.
Yes, they owned a restaurant. And they did this huge 4th of July event. And they invited hundreds of people to this event, and it was all the employees that they had at the restaurant and all their family members. So they were welcome to bring kids, grandparents, everybody. I mean, it was a blast. This was really a huge bash. We'd never been to such a thing.
I know, they had a roller coaster and everything.
In their backyard all the time. That was always set up in their backyard. These were fun people. We need to be good friends with these people. So anyways, they were a delight, and they invited us to come and read. Well, we were only supposed to read for a few hours.
Right.
But we ended up reading for more than that until
we told them, drive the people here, bring them over.
They finally had to ask us, okay, we need you to move so we can set off the fireworks, and where you are needs to be moved. But we had such a blast, and we did 10-minute readings at that event, and we just read and read and read and read and read for hours. We had so much fun. Yeah, we got invited back, but we weren't able to attend last year.
Right.
Yeah, that was
because we were getting our business.
We were getting
going.
the shop ready. Yeah, but that was an absolute blast.
That's how it was for me too. That day, the first time ever that they had energy workers. Believe it or not, first time ever energy workers were set up at a Pagan Pride event in Phoenix.
In Arizona, yeah.
I'm actually so happy that I was the one that got to arrange that.
Right.
But it was, I just, I wasn't worn out. I was a little
tired.
And
you did. How many energy sessions did you do?
I went nonstop for 12 hours.
Right, which just blows my mind.
I did 80 Reiki sessions.
Which was phenomenal.
And yeah, I was tired.
Right.
But I had so much energy pumping through me. I was like, yeah, come on.
Right.
And it was great because there were a lot of pagans there. There were curious people there checking things out.
Right.
I even got to help a young man get back on his hereditary path. He was a Native American, and it was actually quite sad initially because his spirit guides had left.
Oh.
And he didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know which way to go. He didn't know where to turn.
Wow.
And I was able to reestablish a connection for him with his spirit guides.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, it was very emotional. He was an amazing young man.
Wow, that's cool. We're put in the path of people that need us when they need us, or a lot of times we need them too.
Right.
Because they hold the mirror up to us sometimes as well.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the things that, I tell people. They ask me, are you a light worker? Are you one of these people that, go around hugging trees and will only do things that don't harm people? And I'm like, well, the thing is, I always try and do the best that I possibly can for people.
Right.
But although I do tend to be of the light.
Right.
If you cross me, all bets are off.
Right.
But I promise you, if I do step on that other side,
right.
I'm aware there's going to be consequences.
There are, and I like to say we always work for the highest and best good.
I pick my battles.
Right, we do pick our battles. We don't need that crap in our life.
Right.
We are here essentially to serve, and we're so honored to be called to do this. It's a great path that we're on, and we're just thrilled because this is a place of love and light, our shop, and we're coming from you live, actually, from the shop.
Yep.
And that's where sort of our little sound studio thing is set up here. And we enjoy being of the light.
Yep, and absolutely. And I will always work in your highest and best good, unless you attack me.
Or
then you're in trouble.
Or my son.
Yeah. Yeah, if you hurt somebody I love, then there's problems.
You're going against children and animals, we got a real problem.
Yeah. Especially if they're little chihuahuas.
Right. Yes, we love our chihuahuas here. And chihuahuas, yes.
Yeah.
We are of the light.
Right.
And just because we are psychics and we are on a pagan path doesn't mean that we are doing negative things, or what some people might think. People think what we're doing is negative just by doing readings, which, give me a break. We wouldn't have the gifts if we weren't meant to have the gifts.
Right. And, we're coexist.
Right. We are coexist.
We're happy to hear what you believe. It does not necessarily mean that we are going to believe the way that you believe.
No.
But it means
or you believe the way we believe. Right.
But it means that we'll listen, and sometimes I'll even interact and share with you.
Right. Thanks, Terry. Terry's chiming in on the chat room, and she's saying, "Do no harm, but no crap." That is precisely
Right.
it. I'm not going to be
our place.
right. I'm not going to be walked all over. Like earlier, I was talking about that woman that was basically scamming everybody. I'm not going to take stuff like that lightly, and
right.
I'm dealing with the school department in my town, needing to legally do what they're legally bound to do and cover my son's education. And they're not doing that. And I'm done being nice. I'm in the take no crap phase. I'm full on witch at these IEP meetings.
So, I have a suggestion.
Okay, go ahead.
After we go to our next commercial break and
Sure.
we come back,
shall
we talk about free readings versus
readings? Please, let's definitely do that.
Okay. Because
you're hitting the hot button ones tonight.
I know.
You're
I like
my buttons.
I like a little controversy. Anyway, there's a lot there.
Yes, I think we did talk about that on another show. But you know what? I'm really thrilled to revisit that.
Yeah, we did. But since we're talking about readings,
we'll lump it in here too.
It would be good to stress different beliefs and
sure.
how different readers believe different ways and whatnot.
Great idea.
We talk about prepping, we talk about the readee, the sitter.
Right.
They all have so many names.
Right. Well, and us. And even when we get a reading, even as a psychic getting a reading, or let's just say an energy worker getting an energy session. Right. When I go to my friends for an energy session, they'll say to me, "You're not working right now." I'm like, "Oh, damn
it." Well, reading is just another form
it's another form of that. So we need to be reminded that for those whatever minutes that is, we're not working. So we need to be respectful and let the light worker or let the reader, etc., do their job. Us as readers and as light workers, we need to get energy sessions or we need to get readings. We need to be respectful and let them do their job. And that's easier said than done. Not that I want to speak over somebody, but I know when I'm getting an energy session, it's really hard for me to not be picking up on all their stuff and be reading what's going on with them and oh, you got something going on your shoulder right there. And I can't do that. I need to turn that off. And it's really hard.
Well, and I've had people read for me that I didn't ask for a reading.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we come back too. Oh, there you go. There's your hot button topic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about unsolicited readings and free versus paid readings when we come back. We need to take a little bit of a commercial break right now. Ooh, getting Jeff all steamed up.
Bat out. Get your baseball bat out.
Get your wand out. Wand. Yeah. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann and Jeff, and you're listening on PBN Radio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Looking for that special item for your mantle or that one-of-a-kind gift for the love of your life? Visit us at Sleeping Griffin. We offer many items from pyrography to metaphysical supplies. Choose one of our regular designs on a keepsake box, crystal grid, or even design your own. Need a little help with your practice? Choose from our selection of organic, hand-mixed binding salts. Come and see our Etsy shop at Sleeping Griffin or visit our website at sleepinggriffin.net, where spirituality and functionality come together.
Looking for authentic pagan wares? Then check out Onyx Moon Emporium, where they offer an eclectic mix of metaphysical and spiritual related items, handcrafted using old recipes and traditions, where everything is created in small batches by authentic and experienced practitioners. Their promise to customers is authenticity. From witchy items, conjure goods, setting of lights, to a wide selection of magical and conditioned oils. Also handcrafted wooden grimoires and journals, made to order magical candles in all shapes, sizes, and intents. From angel kits to gree-gree, herbs and curios, from naughty to nice and everything in between. Many items are custom made, so they are uniquely yours. Special orders welcome, and if you have an idea for something you're not finding, they're happy to work with you. Need an oil that's not listed? A spell you can't find? Looking for that hard-to-find herb or curio? They probably have it, or they can make it. Visit them at onyxmoonemporium.com or find them on Facebook. Onyx Moon Emporium. From angels to Zen, find everything for your magical life.
Hello and welcome back
To
to Elemental Energies with Chris Ann and Jeff. I'm Chris Ann.
I'm Jeff.
And welcome back. We're continuing our conversation on sort of all things psychic, we'll say.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about, let's talk about the unsolicited readings first, because I know that one really gets you going.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I know they mean well.
So let's give an example.
Okay.
What's an unsolicited reading?
Okay.
So us as readers, or anybody getting
anyone
an
that does
unsolicited reading.
readings.
Yeah.
Anyone that does readings, anyone that has psychic intuition working for them, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
My thing is, and actually I'm at fault a little bit for this. I've been at fault before for this, and I always catch myself and I always apologize, because getting an unsolicited reading from someone is like somebody giving you advice that you don't ask for.
Right. So people
butting their nose into your business.
Right.
That are uninvited, and frankly, what my experience has been when it's happened to me is they were unwanted.
Right. So we're talking about somebody that either picks up the phone and calls you, stops by the shop and says something, messages you on Facebook, Twitter, email, text. Hey, by the way, I got this message for you. That's what you're talking about.
Right. Well, and specifically, I'm not going to mention any names or anything.
Right. Right.
But recently, I had somebody that I needed they contacted me. I needed them to do something for me, and they decided not to do what they said they were going to do. But then they chose to add on top of that a free psychic reading for me that I didn't ask for, that I didn't want.
Right.
That was well-intentioned. I knew it was well-intentioned.
Right, right.
But it was absolutely ludicrous what they were recommending.
You're talking about the one that contacted about my son?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a different one.
No, this is a different one.
Oh, a different one.
This is one where the person wanted me to quit my job and do all these other things that I can do with no customers.
Oh, wow.
And it's like,
no.
Well, that's all well and good. And yes, I would enjoy that income because it would be, like 5 times what I'm making now. Because I've been there. I was self-employed and in that business for 12 years.
Right.
But you don't just walk away from a job that's paying your bills and say, I'm going back into business with myself when I have no customers.
Right, and the universe will provide. The universe will provide, but I know
we have to have common sense too.
And I know in the past, both of us have received unsolicited messages.
Oh
from
yeah,
people, like all the
you
time.
about your son.
Well, I'm not talking about that one yet. I'll talk about that one in a minute. But I'm talking about other people that have contacted us and been like, hey, I just got this message and you need to know this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you know what strikes me every single time is it's all about ego. they need to sort of get this message out. And it's one thing if you say to me, listen, I'm practicing my skills. Can I give you a reading and you give me feedback in return?
Right.
I have no problem with that because I
Oh,
can
me
give you
neither.
constructive feedback. And I'm
Right.
very happy. And I have done that for many people to give very, very constructive feedback. And I'm honest with
That's
my feedback.
different. They're
That's
asking.
different. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm talking about, hey, I've got this whatever message that angel so-and-so came to me. And you know what? I am not discounting anybody's abilities,
Right.
but when it's unsolicited, we're not living on a TV show. That's not appropriate at all.
Right.
On TV, they show people going up to other people saying, hey, I'm going to give you a reading, blah, 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 is talking to you from across the beyond. It's TV. There are producers that have gone up to these people ahead of time, had them sign consents and waivers. That's TV. It
Right.
doesn't happen like what they're showing on TV.
Well, and
It's not appropriate.
it's akin to the woman walking through the Walmart parking lot handing out cards that she's a psychic and she has a message for you.
Right.
Give me a break.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's, yes, okay, wonderful. You got a message for me. Okay. Even if I accept the fact that you got a message for me
Mhm.
and it's a true message, if it is not something I've asked for,
Right.
if you say that and you don't pause and
Right.
get my agreement that I want to hear it,
Right.
I don't want to hear it.
Right. And on the flip side, what has happened to me many times is the dead will come to me and say, I need you to track down my sister, so-and-so, who lives in such and such a place. And I'm like, really? Come on. If they need the message, they can come to me. You get them to me.
Right.
I'm not going to pick up the phone and say, hey, sister so-and-so, I've got your dead brother here and she wants you to know, blah, 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 blah. No, that doesn't happen.
Well, and they're free to move around.
Right.
Let them go get them themselves.
I say to the dead, you need to get your living to me for the reading. That's how it works. I'm not tracking somebody down because that's creepy, unsolicited, unwarranted, and they may not be ready for it. And if they are in an emotionally fragile state, something like that can put them over the edge. Let's use the example of a suicide.
Right.
To say, hey, your dead brother's talking to you, and the poor thing just was a suicide victim, not but a few weeks prior to that. I
Right.
don't think so.
Right.
That is not responsible.
Well, and
it's
people,
insensitive.
And people that do that, really, if you look at it, it's a huge red flag.
Right. It's ego. They're only all about ego.
Or solicitation.
Right.
Now, that wasn't the case with this person that gave me the unsolicited reading. I know that it wasn't about them trying to get money out of me or anything else, but I will say it was about ego.
Right.
I have to say that.
Right.
Because the information they got, well, it was well-intentioned. I don't know where it came from because it was completely unrealistic.
And you had somebody message you during the week, actually, just this past week, with a message. They contacted you, which kind of surprised me. They contacted you instead of me, but it was a message for me and my son.
I know.
And you were just completely incensed by the whole thing.
Oh, I was more than incensed.
I know you were. I'm being polite.
I was pissed.
Well, I wasn't, because ironically enough, the message that this friend had gotten for my son was a message that I had gotten about 3 years ago for him already. And it was something that I had already done. Maybe I needed to hear the message again so I could double check that I had done everything and maybe needed to redo everything. But I had done it, and I did get the message years ago. And I think when it comes to my child, I'm okay. I still don't like unsolicited messages, but when it comes to my child, I think I'm a little more open-hearted.
Right.
And I guess because, I have a disabled child. He is
Right.
quite ill. And of course, I would turn over every rock to get him the help that he needs. Put a couple
Right.
rocks in my pocket along the way, but you know what? I would turn
Yeah.
over every rock that I need to get him the help. And, I have Reiki'd him until the cows come home, and I know my limitations. Reiki is not the cure-all for everything. And he's going through something that's part of his life's journey, his soul's journey. And some of this he needs to figure out on his own, but nonetheless, he's 9 and he's been dealing with this actually since before birth. So, if there's something in my path that I can help him with, I'm absolutely going to, because he's an innocent child.
Right. And I would do anything to heal.
I know you would. I know you would.
But, sometimes people aren't meant to be healed.
No, and I have to
No matter how much we want.
How much we want to, and we want to take it all. Take every ounce of it.
Yep.
I can't.
Right.
I can't. As much as that just crushes me at the end of the day. I can't.
To be perfectly honest with you,
Mhm.
my dream and my hope is, well, that doesn't sound right either. But from a good sense, if I'm not able to heal him right now,
Right.
my hope is that one day I will grow enough to be able to.
Right. And he is going to go on to do absolutely wonderful things. So this is part of his journey and his path, so he can have the understanding in order to help other people that are in
Right.
the same space that he's in, because I know he's going to grow and do amazing and wonderful
Absolutely.
things
And I know it too.
with a big impact.
I already had that vision of the
Right.
3 of us.
Was that an unsolicited vision?
No, it was a vision for me. It was for the 3 of us. We're going to be roadies.
So let's talk a little bit. We only have a few minutes left. Let's talk about paid readings versus unpaid readings. So, everybody and their brother would love a free reading. And to be honest, I would love to give everybody and their brother a free reading. But the truth remains is I have bills to pay. You have
Right.
bills to pay. I don't go to the hairdresser and say, you know what, you were given that talent to cut my hair, so you're going to give it to me for free because that talent was gifted to you from the universe.
Right.
So use that talent and cut my hair and make me look good.
If that was the case, I'd use that every time I go to the hospital or the doctor.
I know it.
Well,
but people think they can say that to a psychic and they think that's appropriate.
right.
And that's such an insult. And it's really degrading.
Well, and for other readers to come across that, how can you disrespect your gift
Right.
by charging
Right.
money
Right.
for doing it? Well,
Hey, a
because
mechanic has a gift too.
Hey, but if
A
I'm
teacher has a gift.
if I'm spending my time using my gift to help other people,
Mhm.
that doesn't stop the bills from coming in.
Right. You know what? The guy that hooked up our cable here, he has a gift for
Right.
hooking up cable. Well, sort of has a gift for hooking up cable.
Well, he didn't do that well, so
He's got a
he's
half
still
gift.
learning, yeah.
He's got a half gift. But you know what? We still have to pay that cable company.
Right.
And, the person that built the house, and we're going to be having somebody come and pave the
So-
driveway. They're good gifts. We're going to pay them.
Although that's true, and
Unless they want an unsolicited reading.
although we were born with certain gifts,
Right. And everybody's born with gifts.
Right. Everyone's born with gifts.
Right.
But even though we were born with many of the gifts we have and we
Mhm.
use,
Right.
it takes time to grow.
Right.
We also take classes from
Right.
other people.
Right. We're
I know-
constantly growing.
I know it. Although you're more than fair with you're my classes.
Right.
I still was living in Arizona, and
Right.
in order to take those classes with you, I came here for a month.
You did. You came
And
and
had to
studied with
live.
me for a month. Right.
I had to have a motel room.
You had to pay for
I
a
had to
hotel
pay
room.
for
I
my
wasn't putting you
food.
up for months.
That's right, I know. Well, you weren't in a place to at the time
I
anyway.
wasn't. I
But-
wasn't.
But what I'm saying
right.
is, there are debts incurred.
Right.
When we choose this lifestyle that we're living,
Living, right. We're not leaving it.
yeah, this lifestyle
Right.
we're living, there are certain obligations, there are certain needs, there's certain paths that we choose to take.
Right.
Just like a doctor
Right.
will go and study
For
medicine.
higher education.
Higher
we have higher
education.
education as well.
Right.
You know, artists, whether they be a visual artist or whatever, they have to pay for their canvases, they have to pay for their schooling, they have to pay for their paints. They're gifted. You wouldn't dream of walking into an art gallery and saying to the artist, you have a gift to make that beautiful painting on the wall. Because that gift was gifted to you from the universe, you need to give me that painting. Because how dare you charge for your gift?
I have two more things to say.
Go
about
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
Okay, one is Terry is absolutely
yes.
correct in the chat room.
Yes.
Even non-denominational churches and organizations have to have money to exist.
Right. They ask for donations.
Right.
And
So that's-
they don't really ask.
Well, yeah.
You're
Sometimes
told
they
you're going to
do.
do it.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But
Some. It depends on where you go. Right.
right.
But everybody, unfortunately, that's how our world is working right now. It's
Right.
not always going to be this way, but for right now, we are a society that functions on money, and money is, we would love to trade lilac flowers for our cable bill.
Well,
We can't.
And sometimes we do trade for readings.
Trading for readings, we love to barter with
Right.
some things. We can't barter for everything.
And there is another aspect as well to
Mhm.
the free versus paid.
Right.
We are human too.
Right.
We have feelings as well.
Right.
We're both empaths.
Right.
If we know somebody is in need,
Right.
and
True
they-
need.
in true need, we
Mhm.
can tell that. We are empaths.
Right.
We're psychics.
We're
We
psychic.
can tell that.
Right.
Okay, if they're truly in need and they need, and I have the time,
If we have the time, that's the key right there. Right.
we will offer for free.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often.
No, but we do a lot of donations
We
throughout
do.
the year. Different organizations
Right.
come and ask us for donations. We donate a ton.
But don't ask me for free
No.
because I
No.
can guarantee you, if you're asking me for free, you have placed no value
Right.
on what you're asking for.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, you would not ask for it for free.
Right. You would say, I have this to offer. I can't afford to pay you, but I do sewing. Can I
Right.
sew something for you?
Well, in truth to tell, if they're asking it for free, then they're already expecting.
Right. Right. My mother
They're
used to
already
tell me
disrespecting.
they're disrespecting. My mother would tell
Actually.
me when I was growing up, if you ask for something, I'm not going to give it to you, except for Christmas and my birthday. But she would just get really irate.
Oh, but she didn't.
No, and she wouldn't. If we went into a store and we were like, but I want that toy, I can guarantee you we would not get that toy.
Right.
And as an adult, I had to learn to respect myself and to be able to say to the universe, okay, universe, I need to manifest this. I need to figure out how I can get a shop, how I can get, I didn't go to the town and say, you know what, I want a building for free and a shop. That's not how it works. So that's just our sort of 2 cents that we like to chime in. So, I know I know we're seeing on the chat room, other people don't do any of that for free. And that, you know what? I get it. I get it.
So,
And-
a quick question about your
Yeah.
mom.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. What?
When she told you that, did you go to the store and tell her, "No, I don't want that. I don't want that"?
I
Did you
should've.
expect to get it?
No, because I wasn't manipulative.
Reverse psychology.
It didn't work.
I know your
No,
mom. That
you-
probably would have worked.
No, because I was respectful.
I know.
And I
I'm
wasn't
teasing you.
manipulative. I was a really
I'm
good
just
little
teasing.
girl. Right now, I'm, she's getting
Yeah.
gray now, but that's okay. But you know what? Every week we're going to have sort of a different topic of conversation here every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And if you have a topic,
Ooh,
that you
yeah,
want us to
let us
talk
know.
About, let us know.
Right.
We're always open.
Yes, and let us know on Facebook at Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann and Jeff, on Twitter at Chris-Ann1234, on the website www.chrisann-jeff.com, CHRISANN-JEFF.com. So those are the ways to get in touch with us. Check out the website. We are finally adding some great products to the website. And
We're almost ready to do our newsletter.
Right. Oh, we didn't do the crystal of the night tonight. Okay, we'll do that next week. Next week we'll pull some cards. We'll do some crystals during the show. Come back from my Monday night show. I'm interviewing my son. It's going to be fantastic. So that's Divining.
I'll be here.
Yeah, you'll be here. Divining the Elementals with Chris-Ann, and I'm going to be interviewing Ari, my 9-year-old, very gifted crystal child, and he's going to be doing some readings. So message some simple questions through the Facebook page, Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann and Jeff, on Monday. Not before Monday, only Monday. And I'm going to be putting an announcement out about that. So pay attention for that. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the fun stuff on the chat room. Check out the chat room. Terry's posted all the different ways to get in touch with us, which I love. Thank you, Terry.
Yep,
so you have
Terry.
been listening to Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann and Jeff on pbnradio.us. Thanks so much for listening. Be free.